When it comes to development groups on Roblox, very few are well known, like big games, for better or worse. On one hand, they have put themselves at the top of the simulator genre, yet on the other hand, they've made questionable decisions that have put them against their community time and time again. As such, their reputation has gone down the gutter, and users have accused the group on focusing on maximum profit without any sort of respect for their community. The question is though, are these accusations valid? To find out, we don't actually have to go too far into the past, as our journey begins in Pet Simulator 2. Released to the public on February 4th, 2019, this game was the least successful of the 3 Pet Sim games, as its visit count was completely dwarfed by the other 2. But why are we talking about Pet Simulator 2 out of all things? Well, it's important to note that this game was advertised as the first simulator where you don't have to pay to win. It was a noble concept at the time, but it wasn't all that profitable. Now to clear some confusion, it's completely alright if a game has some game passes given the right circumstances. Heck, even Pet Sim 2 had a few as well. But while this approach wasn't entirely the reason why this game failed, it certainly played a role. And the founder of the group, Preston, knew this, which was why the anti-pay-to-win approach was scrapped in Pet Simulator X, which would be released almost 2 years later. Now, unlike its predecessor, Pet Simulator X was successful, and it was known as one of the most popular simulators on the entire platform. Overall, everything was smooth sailing for Preston in big games with minimal conflicts. Well, that was until later that year in November, when they made such a bizarre decision that it would mark the beginning of big games' declining reputation. They would end up making NFTs. For those who've been living under a rock, an NFT is based on the blockchain that is presumably unique and can't be copied, when you can just screenshot it for free, let's be honest. What big games tried to do here is that if you ended up purchasing one of their NFTs, you could get a pet for the game. Despite initial success, many people in the community took a stance against the concept. Not only that, but it violates Roblox's terms of service, even though they were never really punished for breaking it. Earlier this year, big games would seemingly discontinue the NFT ordeal, and refunded everyone who bought it. Overall, it was an absolute disaster. Yet this wouldn't be the only controversy that they would find themselves in. The next problem is that big games have been giving away plushies that are overpriced, such as $350, while other games on Roblox have their plushies for way cheaper. Now the reason for that is because when you buy a Pet Simulator X plushie, it comes with an in-game code that you can use for the game. But even then, the price is way too big to justify it. Of course, there's always the option to not buy it, but for those who want to get the best pets possible, you're left with very few options. Finally, this problem is from the founder himself, Preston. For context, he announced an update that free-to-play users, or otherwise people who don't have Robux, would enjoy. Yet when the update came, it turned out that you need to sacrifice a big pet in order to unlock a new area. When you're playing this game without Robux, it can be quite hard to even obtain a big pet. So the fact that the game is demanding that you lose one is tragic for those users. However, this only intensified when Preston accused those free-to-play users of being entitled. He would later try to correct himself and be a bit more specific of what he meant, but the damage was already done. Now there's more controversy that the group has been in, but these 3 topics are the most notorious of them all. So what happens now? Well, in recent times, YouTubers have been claiming that Pet Simulator X has been on a downfall, as the game reached its lowest concurrent player base in a long time. Now the game isn't necessarily dead by any means of the imagination, but it's becoming clear that less and less people are playing the game, and that Pet Sim X may have passed its prime. So what will the future hold for big games? Will they redeem themselves with the community, or will they continue to be perceived as one of the greediest development groups on the entirety of Roblox? Only time will have the answer to that question.